My grandfather was at that time the king of the winged monkeys, which lived in the forest near Gaelet's palace, and the old fellow loved a joke better than a good dinner. One day, just before the wedding, my grandfather was flying out with his band. When he saw Kelala walking beside the river, he was dressed in a rich costume of pink silk and purple velvet, and my grandfather thought he would see what he could do. At his word, the band flew down and seized Kelala, carried him in their arms until they were over the middle of the river, and then dropped him into the water. "Swim out, my fine fellow," cried my grandfather, "and see if the water has spotted your clothes." Kelala was much too wise not to swim, and he was not in the least spoiled by all his good fortune. He laughed when he came to the top of the water and swam in to shore. But when Gaelet came running out to him, she found his silks and velvet all ruined by the river. The princess was angry, and she knew, of course, who did it. She had all the winged monkeys brought before her, and she said at first that their wings should be tied, and they should be treated as they had treated Kelala, and dropped in the river. But my grandfather pleaded with the princess, for he knew the monkeys would drown in the river with their wings tied. And Kelala put in a good word for them also, so that Gaelet finally spared them on condition that the winged monkeys should ever after do 3 times the bidding of the owner of the golden cap. This cap had been meant as a wedding present to Kelala, and it is said to have cost the princess half her kingdom. Of course, my grandfather and all the other monkeys at once agreed to the condition, and that is how it happens that we are 3 times the slaves of the owner of the golden cap, whosoever he may be.
And what became of them?" asked Dorothy, who had been greatly interested in the story, if a little annoyed by all the extra sounds.
Kelala, being the first owner of the golden cap,
replied the monkey,
he was the first to lay his wishes upon us, as his bride could not bear the sight of us. He called us all to him in the forest after he had married her, and ordered us always to keep where she could never again set eyes on a winged monkey, which we were glad to do, for we were all afraid of her. This was all we ever had to do until the golden cap fell into the hands of the wicked witch of the west, who made us enslave the Winkies, and afterward drive Oz himself out of the land of the west. Now the golden cap is yours, and 3 times you have the right to command us."
As the Monkey King finally finished his story, Dorothy looked down and saw the green shining walls of the Emerald City before them. She was amazed by the rapid flight of the monkeys, but was glad the journey was over. The strange creatures set the travelers down carefully before the gate of the city. The king bowed low to Dorothy and then flew quickly away, followed by all his band. "That was a pleasant ride," said the little girl.
Yes, and a quick way out of our troubles,
replied the lion.
How lucky it was you had that wonderful cap.